So Elon Musk's dad came out and started talking about apartheid South Africa. And oh my God, dude, some of the stuff he said was absolutely wild. Just listen to what he says here. And I want to talk about the history of the family, because there is a story to history there about why they were even in South Africa in the first place. Listen to this.
The big concern at the moment, and why I think South Africa is a big talking point in the US right now, is America in the next 20 years will become, for the first time in its history, a minority white country.
Well, that will be a very, very bad thing to happen.
Okay, first of all, I don't know that that's even true. And second, why? Is that a bad thing? So what? Who cares?
And third, America has never been like an only white country. We have always been filled with many different people of many different backgrounds.
Yes, that's immigrants. Right?
That's literally what America was built on, immigrants. The first people to form this country, the founding fathers, were not native to America.
Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, so on and so forth, right? What happened to all of that?
Why are there names in Ellis Island? Because we took people in.
Question is, why is it bad to have immigrants? And you can come up with all kinds of, well, Errol Musk can come up with all kinds of bizarre explanations and reasons. They're doing an invasion. They're trying to take us over. It's a foreign invasion or whatever. Nonsense. But okay. But why is it bad to just have normal immigrants? That's not a reason to have, or that's not a reason to not have normal people just coming over here, emigrating. Why would you prefer German immigrants over Mexican immigrants? Is the real question. The answer is purely because they're white, and that's it. The only reason to be opposed to immigration is racism. That is it. Immigration helps the economy. It benefits the economy. It is dramatically helpful to have immigration in your country. There is no downside. So why does Elon Musk not want immigration? It is racism. That's it. That is the only reason. Let's keep listening to Elon Musk. Like I said, there's a whole family history here that I want to talk about in a second.
You want to see the US go down? Why? Oh, you don't like cars and electric cars, and you don't like technology, or what is it? You want to...
Why do you think that having immigrants in the country leads to destruction?
Is he from the US?
No.
Okay, what's his problem then? Okay?
He's a good immigrant, you see, because he's white. Again, there's a whole family history here that will shed a lot of light on this guy's psyche.
Go back to the jungle, or?
If the US becomes a minority white country.
Yes.
So there's Latinas, there's blacks, there's people from all different races make up the majority, and then, it could be 48% white people. Do you really think the US is doomed if it goes under?
Yes, it goes under then.
Seriously?
Yes, of course. You see, if you take South Africa, we have a small white population that projects European culture, or what we learned from Europe.
And oppressed millions of black people.
No.
For decades.
How do you oppress? We gave them work. We fed them. They grew.
Holy dude, to say something like that about South Africa. The white people didn't oppress the black people in South Africa. How delusional do you have to be to say such a thing?
To say that white people didn't oppress black people in general is insane in any situation, because he says, oh, we gave them blah, 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 blah. Right. But at that time, you also took away their freedom, forced them to work for free, made them slaves, took away their ability to see their families in a lot of cases, took away their names. You took away people's names and their language. You cannot, in any situation, say that white people did not oppress black people.
All right, let's keep listening here.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
From a tiny little group into a massive group. That's not oppression. That's feeding them. Do you understand?
We fed them.
You only grow big if you get fed. You only start at 800 and become 50 million if you get fed. We fed them, for crying out loud. Enough with this nonsense.
But so you understand, because
I just want to clarify, the white people did not feed the black people in South Africa. The black people worked to feed themselves. They used their labor to generate revenue for themselves so they could feed themselves. This is reminiscent of this annoying perspective that business owners have a tendency to espouse. I'm responsible for 75 employees. I have to put food on their table. No, you don't. They are putting food on your table. I heard this from Cenk Uygur recently, and it just really annoyed me. What are you doing, Cenk Uygur, to put food on other people's table? You are a host on a show, and you make creative decisions for the creative direction of the show or whatever. There are 75 other people who are working themselves to the bone to make all of this actually happen. Editors, marketers, programmers to program, their website, other hosts, all kinds of different people who are working to keep this ship moving. And what are you doing? You're telling it where to move. That's it. That's not you putting food on people's tables. That's the exact same mindset. Job creator mindset. Those black people that were fed worked for that. You didn't feed them. They fed themselves with their work. No thanks to you. White people in South Africa were fighting the black people every step of the way and making it more difficult for them, making their lives harder for no reason. They would have prospered even more if it hadn't been for you. You were the problem. You are the common denominator. You are the issue, not them. This kind of mindset really annoys me.
We fed them, for crying out loud. Enough with this nonsense.
But so you understand, because the black population was so oppressed under apartheid.
Well, we never saw this oppression you're talking about.
There was no oppression under apartheid. Are you kidding me?
Never saw it.
No, I never saw it.
Yeah, because you're white.
That's insane to say such a thing. There was no oppression under apartheid. Do you know they had something called the pencil test? Have you heard of this? The pencil test. If you can put a pencil in your hair and it stays, you're black. And that would determine whether you're allowed to drink from the same water fountain, use the same bathrooms, marry people. It's illegal to marry between black people and white people in South Africa at the time. You're black. I see what you're doing there. You got a pencil in your hair, and I can clearly see it staying. You're black. No marrying white people.
I'm laughing, but that is actually
insane.
Yeah. And evil.
They did other things too. They had literacy tests, just like America did. They learned a lot of their little tactics from the United States. I mean, is it any surprise that Elon Musk is a vile, racist piece of trash? This is who he came from. This is what he grew up with. Now, I want to talk about the origins of the family.
Why does his dad have a British accent?
I'll tell you why. There's a group called Boers in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
They are from Scandinavia, I believe, Scandinavian countries, and they're like Dutch or whatever. They came to South Africa in the 1500s, maybe, colonized it, oppressed the black people. They make up like 10% of the population, but they control like all of the wealth. And of course, it's segregated by law. You're not legally allowed to marry between black and white. This all ended in 91, I think, with Nelson Mandela, or 94 or somewhere in there. Apartheid ended. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally. So it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. So here's the story of the family. Elon Musk's grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, moved from Canada to South Africa in 1950, and he stated on the record that he did so in support of apartheid. This is right when the apartheid laws were being formally established. Before moving, Haldeman had been involved with Technocracy Incorporated in North America in the 1930s. According to Elon's father, Errol Musk, who we just listened to, Elon's maternal grandmother's parents, the Haldeman's, came to South Africa from Canada because they sympathized with the Afrikaner government. They used to support Hitler and all that sort of stuff, quote unquote. They used to support Hitler and all that sort of stuff. There were a couple of websites that specifically interviewed Elon's family members. One of them was greenvillepost.com. The other was NJ Today. They interviewed these people and asked about the origins of it or whatever. This is a Newsweek article on it. South Africa has found itself at the unlikely center of an American political firestorm. Elon Musk, who grew up there during apartheid, weighing in repeatedly. This is written May 17th, 2025 on Newsweek, by the way. Last week, America welcomed first group of South Afrikaans refugees to the country, a move which has proved contentious. Some dispute the validity of their refugee status, as others see double standards of this program amid Trump's immigration crackdown, which has resulted in others seeking asylum turned away. Yeah, there is no white genocide happening in South Africa. There never was. This is not delusion, but disinformation intended to destroy the reputation of black people in South Africa, to convince people that they're violent and all this other nonsense. South African government passed a law legalizing taking property from white people at will with no payment, so on and so forth. Anyway, the point is that Elon Musk's family specifically moved to South Africa because it was a racist environment and they liked that. They supported Hitler and they wanted to support another racist, vile, hateful government. So they found that one.
I would be very surprised if anyone in Elon Musk's family, especially during World War II, didn't like Hitler. Especially, like, now seeing...
Still do, I guess, huh?
Well, yeah, because now seeing, he clearly did a Nazi salute a while back. It's very obvious the kind of people he grew up with and grew up around. I don't know, I find it crazy that they are out here, like, saying how evil immigrants are and whatever else. Meanwhile, they are immigrants.
Yeah, but they're white immigrants, and that's what matters. It's not about immigration. It's about whiteness. It's about being white. That's what it boils down to for them. Anyway, that's Errol Musk, complete piece of trash, and his son Elon is also a piece of trash. You're just disgusting people. Tell me what you think in the comments.